as we said, indirect is really very often used in quite complex situations, but let us give a somewhat more difficult example. Now we have a price list from certain computer company, and these things that it sells can be divided broadly into device types like motherboards, processors, memory, disk, DVD drives, video cards, and monitors. And now what we want to do is we want to let the user select the first the broad category, like let's say monitors. Then we want the user to be able to select, let's say, a more specific monitor, like Samsung 22-inch. And when he does that, we want to display the correct price, which is 5,990. Now, in other words, we want to create a two-level, price, device list which can be selected with two levels. Let's do that. For that we need to start giving some names. At first let's select the upper table and let's do formulas, create from selection, and top row. So here it is, this block is called device types. Okay, now let's give, and if we want to select the entire table, there's actually one quite quick way. When we're clicking inside the table, and we can now click Control-Shift*. So we hold Control and Shift and click on asterisk. Remember that asterisk, we have to click the asterisk which is in the middle of the keyboard, just next to Enter. And it will, if we have to say it like this, it will go as far up left as it can and start selecting, and then go as far low right as it can, and we'll select the entire table always. Okay, so we've selected, we do formulas, create from selection, top row, and now we have to give the name to the lower table, and this is bigger, so it's more difficult to select. Now it's good time to practice and give Control-Shift*, and it has selected the entire table. Now we give the name by hand, because remember this big table has many rows and many columns, so only by hand can we give it a name, and it's called device underscore table. Enter. And now we need to give some more names. We, for instance, need to select all these motherboards and give it a name. So with the upper heading, this is important, and formulas, create from selection, and top row. And all these concrete motherboards will now have the block name motherboards. Let's do that one more time. For instance, let's select the processors. Let's give formulas, create from selection, and top row. And here it is. This block now is called processors. And let's give all the names like this. I'm going to try to do it really quickly. Now, if someone wants to give it with a keyboard, after selecting all the memories and the heading memory, we can just tap on Alt key once, and here it is, all those letters appear. Since we want to do formulas, we have to now tap M. Then we already get other keys. Create from selection is C. And now Enter. So if we want to give those names, we select them, Alt, M, C, Enter. We select them, Alt, M, C, Enter. We select them, Alt, M, C, Enter. And the reason we're doing it is because tapping on those keys like that is much quicker than doing multiple aimings and selections with mouse. Okay. Now, there's another trick. We can now get a general overview of the entire table. and see what names we've created. For that, let's go to the beginning of the table, and let's hold Control key and use mouse wheel. Here it is. So now that we have zoom, right now the zoom is as small as 25%, as we can see. Now that we have zoom, it's so far out, we can see that these are device types. This whole thing is device table, and here it is: motherboards, processors. We can even check whether the names have been given correctly. Okay. Now the next thing, we go to the previous page, and we want to switch in. We go to the previous page and start by letting the user validate the broad type of the device. So we go in here, choose data, data validation, and then the thing we use most of the time is list of options, and we write equals d_types. Or if we wanted to give it, and we don't remember the name exactly, we press on F3 key, and we can go search for D types. Actually, when we click on D in here, it brings us directly to the names that are beginning with D, and here it is, D types. Now let's select these monitors, for instance. Okay, now the next thing, the monitors are selected. We want to now in here only see the list of monitors. So what we do is we select data validation, and we write again list, and we write equals monitors. Then we can select from amongst them. And now there comes the question, what is wrong, or what should we do differently, or how to proceed. Namely, if someone is now going up here and selecting instead of monitors, let's say processors, then we should have something different in here as well. But we still have the monitors. And the answer is that we should go to this data validation in here. And by the way, let's see how data validation can be keyboard clicked. Alt, data is A, validation is, here it is. Alt, data is A, validation is B, and one more B. So if we want to get to data validation quickly, we do Alt A V V. Okay, and with a list we have to write, and you could have guessed it correctly by now, we have to write in here equals indirect parenthesis C2. Then this indirect will go to C2 cell, take the word processors from there, substitute itself. This indirect is going to be substituted with the word processors, and subsequently we'll have the list of CPUs or processors listed here. And if we go and select, for instance, motherboards, or select, for instance, memory, it will have those memories in here. So what was important here was that these broad device names we had up here, had to be exactly the same as names of the blocks down here. And then the indirect in here went to C2, took the word memory from there and replaced it with equals memory, and then we will have all the memories listed. When we select monitors, indirect replaces the data validation into equals monitors, and we have the monitors selected. And the last step is rather simple. we just need to take this monitor 17-inch ViewSonic VA703B, and we need to go to that B table. Let's select it by Ctrl-Shift**, and we look up. It's going to look up this name of the monitor, and it's going to find it in here, and we look up, takes you back, gives us back the second column, and here it is. So we write equals V lookup parenthesis begin. We're searching for this 17-inch ViewSonic from the block. Remember, we named it D E. Aha, here it is. The hints give it away for us. Device table. Device table. And remember, VLOOKUP always looked in the first leftmost column, so we now need to write which column to give back, which is number 2. And remember, we always put a 0 in here. Let's talk later again why we do that. So far, let's do it as we always do. Let's close the parentheses and let's enter it, and let's see if the correct name for correct price for that VA703B is 2,850. Let's go in here, and here it is, 2,850. If we select a processors, we select processor Intel Pentium 4, we get the price 1250 on the other table.